Have you ever looked at the bottom of your coffee cup and seen those beautiful shimmering patterns of light? What if I told you that what you're seeing isn't just a random trick of physics? According to the source material we're diving into today, that pattern is actually a cosmological diagram. It's a map that encodes the fundamental law of how everything is created and how everything returns.
So what you're looking at here is called a caustic. It's that beautiful pattern you get when light rays bounce off a curved surface and all converge on one brilliant point. You've seen it a million times, in pools, in glasses, but here's the question this source wants us to ask. Is this just a neat little trick of light, or is it something more? Well, the perspective we're exploring today argues that this is absolutely not a metaphor. It's a literal, structural map of reality itself. A map that shows us exactly how divine mercy actually works.
Okay, so to read this map, we have to understand its operating system. And that system is made up of three fundamental actions: Raḥmān, Raḥīm, and Razīm. Now, these aren't just abstract ideas. They are real, dynamic functions inside a living, breathing circuit.
First up, you have Raḥmān. Think of this as the initial, unconditional wave of mercy. It's a universal field of pure potential. It's like those parallel rays of light before they hit the curve, or like rain that falls on everyone, good or bad. As the Qur'an says, my mercy encompasses all things. That's Raḥmān.
But then you have Raḥīm. This is focused mercy. And this is key. It's not some random act of grace that just happens. It is a direct consequence, a geometric inevitability that happens when you interact with the boundary. Only the rays that align perfectly with that curve get to converge into that single brilliant point of light. This is mercy with precision, and it's a direct result of submission. And that brings us to the third part, Razīm. This is the boundary itself, that sharp, defining point where the light gets super intense and a separation happens. Now, this isn't about cruelty or punishment. It's about structure, pure and simple. Paths that are aligned with the curve get focused into brilliant light. Paths that are misaligned, they just scatter into chaos. This is where the idea of fire comes in, not as a weapon, but as the simple structural exposure of anything that can't handle that intense focus. So here it is, the whole system in one view. You've got Raḥmān, the universal potential, which is like an incoming wave of water. Then you have Raḥīm, the focused result, that converging light. And finally, Razīm, the structural test, the filtering fire at that sharp cusp. Water, light, and fire, all working together in one perfect, elegant circle. Okay, so that's the theory. It's a really cool, abstract idea. But does it actually show up anywhere? Well, the source argues that absolutely yes. This circuit isn't just a concept, it's brought to life, vividly, in the stories of the prophets. Let's take Ibrāhīm. He gets thrown into a massive fire, right? But the Qur'an says the fire became coolness and peace for him. In this model, that's not magic, it's physics. His alignment with God's command was so perfect that he passed right through that filtering point of Razīm, completely unharmed. His truth was in perfect harmony with the structure, so the fire literally couldn't touch him. Or think about Moses. He strikes a rock, the boundary, the filter, and boom, water starts flowing for his people. Again, the idea here is that this isn't a miracle that breaks the laws of physics, it's a miracle that results from them. His precise obedience right at that point of Razīm activated the universal flow of Raḥmān, bringing mercy out of a barren rock. And maybe the most profound example is Maryam. She withdraws into silence, perfecting her inner state, her inner alignment. And it's in that state of perfect alignment that guidance appears. The source makes a powerful point here. Guidance isn't something that's just randomly handed to you. It's revealed when your own inner being becomes a perfect mirror, flawlessly aligned inside the circuit. So, we've seen this circuit in theology, we've seen it in the stories of prophets, but does it stop there? The source material suggests this isn't just a spiritual model. It might be a universal principle that echoes through the entire cosmos.
Now, we're not going to do a deep dive here, but the source points out some pretty mind-bending parallels between this caustic model and modern science. It connects it to everything from how a bird's wing generates lift, to the collapse of the wave function in quantum mechanics, and even to big cosmological puzzles like the Hubble tension. The point is, this ancient spiritual map might actually be reflecting a very deep, very real truth about how reality itself is put together.
And this is where this huge cosmic model of light, water, and fire suddenly becomes incredibly personal. Because after all the talk about prophets and physics, this isn't really about them. It's about you.
See, the circuit operates with a perfect, almost mathematical consistency. The universal flow of Raḥmān touches everybody, no exceptions. The focused mercy of Raḥīm is always a direct result of alignment. And that filter, Razīm, it separates truth from falsehood with zero bias.
So here's the most crucial point of all. You are not an observer looking at this diagram from the outside. You are standing right inside of it, right here, right now.
You're at that critical point of interaction. You're at the boundary where your trajectory, your intentions, your submission, all of it is being tested.
And the outcome is always one of two things. Your path will either scatter into chaos and entropy, or it will converge into that brilliant, focused, coherent light of truth.
This completely reframes one of the most central concepts in Islam, Tawheed, the oneness of God. In this model, oneness isn't just a passive belief you hold in your head. It is the active, constant, geometric process of aligning your entire being with a single, coherent circuit of reality.
And so we're left with a final, pretty powerful question from the source material. If this model is true, if the Qur'an itself is the circuit, the boundary, the light, and the path of return, then at what point do you stop just reading it and decide to actually become it?